What's up, losers? Today I'm back with some more r/fatlogic fun, checking out a few spicy posts, and sharing my thoughts on them. This is episode 79 in the Fatlogic series, and I'm fired up to bring the hammer down on some unruly fat activists. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Skinny women. Skinny shaming is real. Also skinny women. OMG, I'm so fat. You'll never hear a fat woman fake complain that she's skinny, so someone can reassure her that she's fat. Just let that digest before you complain about being called a toothpick. You know you're conventionally beautiful, and would never want to gain a pound anywhere, other than in your ass and tits.
Okay, but wanting to gain weight in the ass and tits is the whole reason why people get upset at being described as toothpicks in the first place. And it is the understanding that skinny people might be insecure about their figure that motivates people to insult them along these lines. So to suggest that this is somehow a staged response, or that people who have been described this way have no grounds for complaint, seems pretty disingenuous to me. I also just don't understand this apparent need for fat people to be able to body shame thin people without being called out on it. Like, I agree that fat shaming probably happens much more often than skinny shaming, and that it is likely to hurt those it is targeted towards more in most cases, but that doesn't make it okay to retaliate in kind and go after thin bodies. Especially not if you're claiming to be body positive. It doesn't matter who has it worse, if we can all agree that body shaming is cruel and unnecessary. We should be comfortable acknowledging its existence on both sides of the spectrum. Turning the whole situation into a needless tit for tat is only going to make things worse, because it will just make people feel vindicated in treating others badly. So yeah, instead of being an asshole to everyone else, and expecting them to treat you like royalty, it might be better to hold yourself to a higher standard. Just my opinion.
Hey, pro tip for people who can become pregnant. Plan B only works best if you weigh below 155 pounds. L works best if you weigh below 195 pounds. And if you weigh over that, your main alternative to an emergency contraceptive is a copper IUD. This is just one of many examples of healthcare that is both fatphobic, and that I see people totally uninformed about. Edit. Remember that works best doesn't mean it doesn't work. It can still prevent pregnancy if you are over the recommended weights. It's just less effective for a fat person to have the same guarantee as a thinner person. They'd have to go for an IUD, which is less accessible and palatable to a lot of people, which is total BS. Hashtag my post. Hashtag pregnancy. Hashtag fatphobia. Hashtag reproductive care. Hashtag reproductive health care. Hashtag reproductive rights.
Okay, so first off, I want to give this post credit for spreading awareness about something really important that could greatly affect fat people's lives. Reproductive autonomy is something that all women should be entitled to. And it is vital that people be made aware of factors like this, which can reduce the effectiveness of different birth control methods, so that they are able to make an informed decision about which one to use. With all of that being said, I'm left scratching my head at this post's description of contraceptives that are less effective for fat people as fatphobic. Like, if they don't work on fat people, they don't work on fat people. It's not like the contraceptives themselves hold some kind of grudge against fat people, and the people who are developing them are not deliberately excluding fat people either. There are just limitations to all such products, and one of these limitations is sometimes weight. It's pretty eye-opening to see how confidently posts like this will just assert that something is fatphobic, rather than being a completely predictable consequence of fatness, and not even attempt to explain who specifically is being fatphobic, much less prove their fatphobia. As far as they're concerned, The presence of an unequal outcome alone is enough to make such bold declarations. And, I don't know, that just doesn't sit right with me. Like, if I were in their position, finding out that my weight was preventing me from using common medications would be a cause for real concern and self-reflection. Not an excuse to lash out and blame fatphobia. But clearly I don't think like a fat activist. Because whenever fat activists find themselves experiencing an outcome that they don't like, the answer can never be that they need to do something about it. Everything is automatically someone else's fault. Even in a situation like this, where that doesn't make any rational sense. How ridiculous SMH.
The thing about diet culture is that there's no way any junk food could possibly be more destructive than viewing your own body as not only a separate entity from yourself, but as an enemy to be conquered.
Well, first of all, junk food, while not harmful in and of itself, can absolutely be destructive if consumed in excess. Obesity is no laughing matter. It'll damage your body and health, hold you back from living life to the fullest, and, in the long run, lower your life expectancy. It's a big deal, and it should not be underestimated. But setting that aside, I find this characterization of dieting as separating your body from yourself, and treating it as an enemy to be conquered, a little misleading. Like, sure, when people lose weight, they are trying to change something about their body, but it's not as if they're going to war with it, or something like that. They're just trying to shed a little excess fat, and they're doing it so that they can ensure the long-term health of their body. Not because they want to assert dominance, or something weird like that, haha. They will still have a body when all is said and done. And it will be, in most respects, just like it was before, only a little smaller. So yeah, I don't think that all of this melodramatic language is called for. It's really not that deep. Fat activists like to portray dieting as some kind of nightmarish self-flagellation. But the reality is generally much more mundane. Maintaining a moderate calorie deficit does not require any unimaginable sacrifice on the part of the person undertaking the diet. Nor does it require that they hate their fat body. It just requires a little patience and discipline, and a willingness to prioritize long-term health over short-term gratification. As far as I'm concerned, posts like this serve no other purpose than to stoke fear in fat people who might otherwise be open to giving weight loss a try, and discourage them from even considering it, which is pretty low, to be completely honest. If you're scared of dieting, and don't want to do it, that's your prerogative. Nobody is going to force you to do anything that you're uncomfortable with. And you're allowed to hold whatever wacky views about dieting you need to help you get to sleep at night. But trying to recruit others to your self-destructive position by misrepresenting and demonizing what dieting actually involves to a public audience, just so that you can feel validated in your inaction, is profoundly unhelpful and self-involved. You're not telling uncomfortable truths, or anything noble like that. You're just building and fortifying an echo chamber for insecure fat people to bounce their worst ideas around in, stalling for time while their situation becomes worse by the day. And that's not good for anyone. So yeah, maybe keep the diet culture hot takes to yourself next time. Just a suggestion. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed reading these posts with me, and hearing my takes on them. I actually managed to fit 3 posts in this time, so I'm pretty proud of myself. But that's neither here nor there. What did you think about the posts? Is it okay to skinny shame people and call them toothpicks? Is fatphobia to blame for some contraceptives not working properly for fat people? Does diet culture require you to view your body as a separate entity to yourself, and an enemy to be conquered? And is this more destructive than junk food? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll make you wear a toothpick costume on Halloween, and crack that joke that I didn't even realize you were wearing a costume. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.